Fandom is everywhere. It surrounds us on our phones, our screens, and our conversations. We follow stories, celebrities, athletes, and fictional universes with passion. But fandom today is no longer just about enjoyment or entertainment. It influences taste, identity, and moral alignment. What we consume repeatedly shapes what we normalize. What we normalize slowly becomes acceptable, and what becomes acceptable eventually feels right. Over time, admiration turns into imitation. Imitation shapes habits, and habits quietly shape belief. Fandom does not only shape what we like, it shapes how we think, feel, and how we judge right and wrong. This raises an important philosophical question. Is fandom simply a source of pleasure, or has it become a substitute for meaning, belief, and even morality?
Traditionally, fandom means appreciation. You like a movie, a band, or a sports team. It was something you enjoy, not something that defined who you were.
Today, fandom over becomes a core part of personal identity. Many fans no longer say, I enjoy this. They say, this is who I am.
When identity becomes dependent on fandom, criticism feels personal. Disagreement feels like rejection. The line between self and symbol begins to disappear.
Instinctualistic philosophy helps us understand why this happens. Thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre argue that humans are not born with fixed meaning. Meanings must be created through choice. But existentialism also warns us, not all choices are authentic. When meaning is chosen to avoid absurdity rather than confront it, identity becomes escapes.
Fandom can offer ready-made meaning. It answers difficult questions quickly. Who am I? Where do I belong? But when meaning is borrowed instead of examined, authenticity becomes fragile.
For many people, fandom is not just a hobby, it is an emotional survival, especially during periods like stress, loneliness, or isolation. Stories and idols provide comfort, predictability, and emotional stability.
From a utilitarian perspective, we judge its actions by their consequences. If fandom reduces suffering and increases happiness, it appears morally justified. Happiness, according to utilitarianism, has real moral weight.
Many fans generally feel like fandom help them survive difficult moments. For that perspective, fandom seems not harmless but beneficial.
However, utilitarianism also has limits. It measures happiness, but not dependency. A practice can produce pleasure while still weakening autonomy. If happiness depends entirely on external figures, what happens when those figures fail? This forces us to ask, is comfort always the same as well-being?
I don't care what they did. They mean everything to me. They saved me. I will support them no matter what.
This is the moment fandom across a philosophical boundary. Emotion replaces judgment. Loyalty replaces evaluation. And moral responsibility is quietly removed.
Deontological ethics, especially Kant's philosophy, the jealousy of Hence, I feel like morality is based on principles, no feelings, and action is not right because it feels justified. It is right only if it can be universally accepted.
If an action is wrong when done by a stranger, it cannot become right when done by someone we admire. Selective morality destroys ethical consistency.
When fandom excuses wrongdoing, it no longer creates meaning. It replaces moral judgment with emotional loyalty. At that point, fandom stops being personal and becomes ethically dangerous. Historically, worship involved absolute devotion to a higher authority. That authority shaped values, behavior, and moral expectations. Today, similar devotion can be seen in fandom culture. Celebrities and fictional figures gain moral immunity through admiration.
Fans may forgive behavior may inform a torrent of ordinary people. This creates a novel double standards. Power reshape ethic expectations. Aristotle threw to ethic over important aspects. He believed admiration should be direct towards moral character. Virtue is not talent, popularity, or success. Virtue is a consequence of good characters.
When fame replaces virtue, society confuses achievement with goodness. Admiration without ethical evaluation becomes a form of modern worship.
Healthy fandom encourages creativity, connection, and self-expression. It allows joy without demanding obedience.
Unhealthy fandoms demand silence. It treats questioning as betrayal and disagreement as disloyalty.
Essentialism reminds us that freedom always involves responsibility. Choosing to admire is still a moral choice. Refusing to question is also a choice, one with ethical consequences.
To admire is human. To think critically is ethical.
Philosophy does not ask us to abandon fandom. It asks us to understand its power.
Utilitarianism reminds us happiness matters, but happiness should not be dependent on ignoring others or silencing them.
Deontology reminds us that principles exist to protect us from emotional bias.
Virtual ethics remind us that admiration shapes characteristics. Who we admire inspire who we become.
Essentialism reminds us that meaning must be chosen responsibility. Meaning loses value when it is caused harms.
In the end, fandom should be a mirror, reflecting who we are, not a blindfold that hides moral responsibility. We are fans, but first, we are moral thinkers.